One. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the marathon 3,000, 4,000, 5,000. Yes, we are back in Turkey. We are with Ilhan Küçük. Is it okay? Küçük. And
Yes, yes.
Ilhan is a historic teacher with a lot of experience in education. So welcome back.
Thank
And
you very
the
much.
question for today was, what's very important for you with education?
Yes, education is the best key to understand the values of the daily life and the world at the same time. And we using education and using the education methods, we can understand our values and in other countries' values too at the same time. And we should discover their methods of education and the solutions of their problems, how they solve them using education and the education methods. As you know, a lot of things influenced our personality. For example, national values, religion values, or geographic values, climate values, shaped our personality and shaped a lot of the countries' personality too. For example, I shape it differently when I compare my personality with an African at the same age with me. At that point, I can understand how shaped their personality uh, trying read their uh, education methods, traditional values, and education will not finish. Will not finish. Everything in our world can finish. For example, in the past centuries, my granddad had horse to go everywhere. At the time, I have a car to go everywhere. Changed. Maybe in the following years we will have a small plane to go everywhere like a car, maybe, but education will not finish. And at that point we should discover the best methods to educate our children uh, under the conditions of the changing. First, the teachers should understand them and educate our children and parents too at the same time.
Dear Ilan, I know you have, this is, I mean, I'm with you completely, and I love your views. You have a great master in Turkey. I mean, you had in the past, middle time, and it's Rumi. We know in our country, we call him Rumi. Here it's
Yes,
Mevlana over there. Would you like to talk to us about these incredible values? Because it's really for today and tomorrow,
yes.
not
Firstly,
only for the
yes,
past.
yes. I know that a lot of visitors came to Turkey, admired the Rumi and the Yunus Emre and other thinkers of the Anatolia at the same time, because UNESCO declared this year, for example, Hacı Bektaş Veli, and in the past years Mevlana Celaleddin Rumi around the world. And firstly, we should understand that uh, those philosophers lived in the multicultural environment, and they lived in the multicultural environment, and they discovered everybody the common values of the world. For example, if you are a Turkish, or if you are a Rumi or Greek or Armenian or Russian, but you are a human. You are the same. You will live in the same geography. You will live in the same environment. You will help us in the bad conditions. You will share everything. They discovered them. Mevlana Celaleddin Rumi and other philosophers lived Anatolia in the medieval age, as you know. After the, for example, during the collapsing of the Eastern Roman Empire and founding of the Ottoman Empire, they discovered the common values. And with those philosophers, the persons of the time built their culture and stays easily. Sometimes they gave informations, they gave examples of them, and they solved a lot of questions using their perspectives. And in the following centuries, for example, the French philosophers influenced the world, or European philosophers. But during the medieval age, especially in the Middle East, Mevlana, Celaleddin Rumi, and others influenced those geographies better, as you know. And their perspectives are common perspectives, and they are still important for us. For example, when you visited the high school in Turkey, in Trabzon, in Akçabat, you saw the perspectives of the Mevlana Celaleddin Rumi. You stayed there about half an hour to read.
I could believe it was so beautiful.
Yes, but I followed you at the same time. You asked those questions to our students too during your activity, and they talked their perspectives to you too. And when I saw it, when I noticed it, I was happy because I understand that we should learn our children and the world our common values. And Rumi and other thinkers lived in Anatolia and around the world at the same time. Talked and suggested to all of the humanity, you are the same, you should solve the problems all together. At the same time, you can find intellectuals like Rumi around the Balkans, around Iran or Arabic countries, and the Russian culture closely. We know them. For example, in our conversation with the Russians or the Europeans, we are giving the perspectives of the Rumi, and they are at the same time they advise us you should read or for example Descartes. We read the Descartes too. We read their intellectuals. They read us too at the same time, and at the same time in the projects of education, we discovered our common values of our philosophers too at the same time. But I noticed that around Europe and around the world, they loved and admired the Rumi much. They read their perspective much. And at the end, I understand that we should value also multiculturalism for future. And Rumi discovered it and described it in the past centuries too, for today and the future.
For today and for the future. So for people who want to know more, we are talking about Rumi, R-U-M-I, also known as Mevlana, Mevlana. And please, I would invite everybody to...
Okay, Rumi, yes, Mevlana is coming. He close to the God. He close to God, Mevlana.
To God?
God, Allah, God. I will write to you. I will write.
Please, and we will write down as well.
Okay.
Meanwhile, you're right. I wanted to say, yes, I was invited to a school by Ilhan in Turkey, Trabzon. And at the entrance, there was a beautiful painting with Rumi and all the quotes of Rumi. And yes, I was very happy to see that inside the school. And yes, I stayed a long time.
Yes. And
so that was a story with Ilhan and Rumi.
If you
marathon
yes,
Rumi.
at that point, if you want, I can advise to you and all of the followers of your foundation reading the Mevlana Celaleddin Rumi's biography to understand him closely. At this
Perfect.
point, I can advise firstly to you to read it. And as you know, we read Rumi's quotes or perspectives, but at the same time, we are following in other countries intellectuals from Spain, for example. And but at that point, we couldn't enough information, and we couldn't enough perspectives of the Latin America at the same time. We know that from history, a lot of European countries, a lot of persons from European countries immigrated there. But at the same time, we, for example, for 20 years, we discovered the culture of the Indians of the North America, or the North America Indians. But we couldn't know anything, enough information. Please forgive us. We don't know enough information about Latin America and the culture of the Latin America. But from now on, we should start to read them too. And we want to know the intellectuals of those countries too at the same time. And in our lessons, we are using the Google Earth program, Google Earth satellite program. Yes, to travel the world. For example, I visited Bolivia and the Dried Lake in Bolivia and Andes Mountains in Bolivia. Using Google Earth is better than use the maps. Because the Google Earth is a reality to understand the nature of the world at the same time.
Beautiful.
But in the following years, as I told to you, I will read the intellectuals of the Latin America too.
Beautiful. Yes, let's have a lot of exchange. Us too, we want to know the whole world. We want to make sure it's one planet, one humanity. We are all the same family at the end. And
Yes.
at the end, and discover our own culture as well, both. That's beautiful. And
Yes,
thank you for sharing with us, because what you do is really building peace around the world.
Yes. Yes, peace is the best dream of the whole of the humanity. But to bring the peace is more difficult, as you know. But step by step, we will follow the conditions of our daily lives, and every conditions we will tell to us and everybody the importance of the peace. And if we understand we are coming to the same route as humanity, if we understand it, and then we can understand the importance of the peace, and we can and the reality of the peace every time we will follow us as a shadow, near shadow to us. Every time it will be. But at that point, as a teachers, we should our students the common values of the humanity. Firstly, to respect every values, to respect every religions, to respect every kind of traditional values. Firstly, we should educate our students as the main aims of the education firstly. And then, as you know, the students' character is full of peace values. But they grow up, they change sometimes, as you know. And in our schools, firstly, we should learn the values to our children. And then it is easy for us that to follow the conditions around the world, to follow the developments of education and cultural values and festivals and a lot of things. It is very easy for us to follow. For example, sometimes, for example, last year in Russia, 5th May of Russia gained a lot of gained a great victory about against the Nazis, At the times, our students we wrote to them, and we celebrate the national ceremony, and they became happy, and in the 9th of the September, it was a Turkish National Day. We opened our emails. The Russians completely wrote us. Yes.
And concretely, it's alive.
We have to share our happiness. We have to share our pains. We have to share everything. If we do that, we can see the peace everywhere.
Beautiful message.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Time flew again. Thank you for all your beautiful message and all your pedagogical tools. You are a great teacher, and we definitely keep in touch as always, dear Ilhan. And definitely.
Okay, but I want to thank you. I want to thank you of that, because I learned a lot of values from you and your foundations too.
And I learned from you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. See you soon, and we stay tuned with the marathon, with all those beautiful exchange. Thank you so much, Ilhan, and take care. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye. See you.
Thank you. See you.
Greetings to Labas. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You invited me to do that wonderful conversation.
See you. See you. Bye-bye.